because I was married and I didn't know who the dad was. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shae. I have my computer over here. If I glance over here, then it's because I'm reading to keep me on topic and stuff. Today is going to be a really touchy subject, and I didn't think that I would ever be recording this and putting it online. I don't know if you guys know who Shae is from Teen Mom. I'm not sure what her last name is, but I was watching a YouTube video of hers and her story inspired me to do my own story because I was married and I didn't know who the dad was. So I'm gonna put my computer right here so I can stay on track. When me and my husband got together, like, oh my god, this is gonna sound so horrible. We moved very, very quickly into our relationship. We met in November, like end of November, December, and got married in February. I found out I was pregnant, I think in December at that time, and I just really didn't want to believe it. I woke up one morning, had really bad morning sickness. It was probably like 3 or 4 a.m. and he worked night shift at the time, so I texted him and was like freaking out because I just don't randomly throw up. Who just randomly throws up? He wanted me to go and get a test, and then I went back to sleep. The next morning I just felt like achy and sick, so I thought I had food poisoning, and I wasn't even going to take a test, but he kept pressuring me to go ahead and get one, so I went ahead and got one. Really didn't think that I was at this point. Like, if you would have asked me a couple hours before, oh yeah, I thought I was pregnant for sure, but waking up and just feeling how I felt, I did not think that I was pregnant at all. When we first met, I was in a very bad place in my life. Not a bad place, but I was just ready for a relationship. I was already dating, I already had Ryder, and it was just, the dating pool gets smaller and smaller whenever you have kids because your standards get higher. It's not just about you and the person, it's about how they treat you, how they treat your child. So honestly, I posted a picture on Facebook and I said, the next cute guy that likes my picture, then I'm gonna DM them. And David was the only cute guy that liked that picture, to me anyways, the only cute guy. So I messaged him and we kind of hit it off from there. It was about the second time that we hung out is whenever I got pregnant. And I had, like I said, I found out in December. I think it was like the beginning of December. We just wasn't careful with it at all. I just didn't think that I would get pregnant. I wasn't thinking about it at the time. Me and him was just kind of like at a mutual agreement that like this is what it is. We wasn't really looking for a relationship at that point. We was just having fun and everything. And you should just always be careful. Just be careful. Don't do my mistakes. Even though it was a happy mistake, just be careful because you don't want to be put in a position to where you just don't want to be put in a position if you're just hanging out with someone and you're not sure that you like them. You don't want to be put in a position to raise a baby by someone that you kind of have to force to make a relationship work. I'm trying to use my words lightly because some of the things that I say is gonna be hurtful. It would be hurtful if I was watching it like knowing how we are now, because we're fine now. And you're probably wondering, well, how was you married and you didn't know who the dad was? And I did cheat, but I'll get into that. Everything was just really rocky the first year or so. It was really rocky. I think that because I was pregnant and we got married so fast, both of us was kind of, we were forcing it at the time to make it work. We really liked each other. I liked him. I'm glad that everything worked out. I mean, it's amazing that I found someone and that happened to me that I really did like, and even if I hadn't have gotten pregnant, then we still would probably be together today. During my pregnancy, In the beginning, we was super, super happy. It was his first boy out of 3 girls, and we just lived happy for a couple months. And one day, one of my exes messaged me, and I thought I would be the last person that he would message, and I felt like I didn't want to be one of those people that shut someone out and then commit suicide, because he wasn't in a very good place in his life. So I messaged and found out quickly that it wasn't important. It wasn't a need to talk. I was actually gloating about my marriage and how good this man treats me and my kid, and then he started flirting, and I told him not to contact me anymore. Well, I deleted the messages. That was the biggest mistake that I feel like I've ever made in this relationship, is deleting those messages, because nothing was said bad. I just didn't want an argument between me and David. I just didn't feel the need that I had to show messages or keep them or anything like that. And honestly, once he started flirting, I thought that was what would make David mad. And in all reality, like, that's not my fault. I can't control someone else's words. So I should have never deleted those messages, because that right there ruined our trust. And since that happened, he kind of just started second guessing if Zayden was even his. And for me, I wasn't even thinking otherwise, that Zayden wouldn't be his. And then after he started second guessing, I was like, oh crap, because I had one of my exes over to get the rest of his stuff like a week or 2 weeks prior to me and David. The guy that I had over to get the rest of his stuff, he was just very forceful. Even before I had him over to get his stuff, it was just me turning him down. Like, I didn't want him. He did certain things to me in the relationship that I wasn't gonna forgive, and I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be a part of someone cheating on me, and it just wasn't, like, that's not what I wanted. He kept trying to pretty much force himself on me, and I kept telling him no multiple times, and I was hoping that my brother would hear, because he was in the other room. But in my head, I said, well, let's just get this over with. And that's not ever okay, and I don't want anybody watching this to think that that's okay. If you tell a guy no or a girl no, and they just continue on and continue on, and even if you have had sex with them in the past, that does not, you do not have to justify it in your head to just say, let's get this over with. Because I only did that so it would make me feel better. Either way I try and justify it, that is still rape. I don't care what anybody says. You should not have to justify that act, because a sexual act should be both willing partners and both wanting to, not someone just getting it over with and then going in the bathroom crying because they feel so bad and they feel like a skank and a whore. You just should not feel like that at all. I should have just kept saying no and not did that to myself. And no, I didn't press charges. No, I haven't spoke of it really to anybody but my friends and family, because even though it was not consensual, it was like barely consensual, if that makes sense. Like, I agreed to it even though I didn't want to. My husband questioning me about if the baby's his and all of that, I told him what happened. And at this point, because I'd already deleted messages from an ex, it's like I felt like he half believed me, because I already lied once. What else did I lie about, you know? So it was like, after that, I felt like the end of my pregnancy was just, I'm trying not to cry. At the end of my pregnancy, like the last couple months, I just felt bad. I felt depressed, and I was just worried about who the dad was, even though I just knew in my heart that it was David's. Like, the timing just didn't add up, the dates didn't add up, and like I had a period right after, and it just didn't make sense to me that I would have got pregnant by the other person. So it's like I knew in my head that it was David's, but David just didn't fully believe me, because it would be like someone would make a comment about the baby and me and him would both just give each other these looks like, oh, well, we don't know. I mean, we never told anybody. He just became really distant. He didn't connect with me anytime I talked about like the baby moving or wanted him to feel my belly. He just acted uninterested, and I know all of this is gonna put him in a bad light, but I look at it from his perspective. If that happened, like, he probably felt like he made a big mistake, because he was doing the right thing by marrying me, because we was having a kid together, and he was just trying to do the right thing. And he probably felt so many emotions. I mean, so did I, but that didn't give him an excuse to treat me how he did. I mean, he didn't treat me bad, but he just wasn't connecting with me. And I've just, every doctor's appointment after that, every doctor's appointment, it wasn't as exciting anymore, because he just acted like he wasn't interested in the baby or the pregnancy or anything anymore. And I just remember having Zayden and just feeling so much anxiety, because I didn't know what this baby was gonna come out looking like. It was like I was either gonna be really happy or my whole life was gonna be destroyed, because if he ended up not being David's, then we probably wouldn't be married right now, because it just would have looked like a lie. And that's sad, but honestly, if Zayden hadn't been his, then that still shouldn't have really changed our relationship, because you don't marry someone just because you're having a baby with them. You marry someone because you love them, even though it started out like that in the beginning. But I think by 9-10 months that you should know that you like this person and that you want to be with this person. Not maybe all the way for marriage, but in our case, it shouldn't have just been automatically a divorce. But either way, I would have understood his emotions with it. But I was just, whenever I was in labor with Zayden, I just did not want him to come out, because I was so afraid. I was so afraid that he was not going to be David's. And I just remember this big relief after the doctors pulled him out, and he just looked so much like David. And like, I knew, and everybody kept saying, oh my God, he looks just like his dad. He looked nothing like me. He looked nothing like the other guy. He just looked like straight up David. And still to this day, he still looks like his dad. He doesn't, I don't even know what he gets for me. He just looks like little David running around. I mean, I blame myself. I blame the guy doing that to me, because no means no. And I blame David for treating me how he treated me, because it was probably months after Zayden was even born until he actually fully realized, like, this is, like, he is mine. Even I just went through months of pain for nothing, really. I went through it for nothing, because I never cheated. I never went out of our marriage. I may have made mistakes that looked bad, but I never did anything. And still to this day, I've not done anything. I love David to death. We had a rocky first year, like going on 2 years. It was just a lot of trust issues on both parts. I'm just naming off like what I did right now, and I can see why he had trust issues, honestly, because if he had done those things to me, I would have probably felt the same way. I didn't do anything bad that I thought, but just different people take things differently. I don't get upset whenever I see him doing certain things with social media or anything, but he gets upset with if I do it. But that's just how we are. Everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions and different views. So I understand and respect how he feels. Even though I don't think it's a big deal, I'm still gonna respect my husband and not do those things anymore. But anyways, that was my story of me being married and not knowing who the father is, and a lot of other things that went in with it. And if you guys enjoy these story times, then make sure you like the video down here and click the subscribe button. And also go and check out my Instagram. I'll have my Instagram at the end card. And I'm doing a giveaway for a camera, so go and check that out. I have some requirements. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.